Hello, hello, and welcome to the Sharp as Shiv podcast. I am your host, Shiv Reddy, and it's been a while since the Sharp as Shiv blog post kind of died down about a couple years ago, but we're bringing it back here. So, looking forward to it and excited to kick off this summer and kick off this new NFL season. It's going to be a good one. There's a lot of offseason moves from different teams. Lots to talk about. We're gonna try to do this weekly. We're gonna specifically talk about the super contest lines. Myself and my buddy Corey are heading to Vegas in a couple weeks to go sign up for the Circa Millions contest. And what that contest is picking 5 games against the spread every week. The best overall record gets $1 million to $1.5 million. Not really sure what the prize pot looks like until everyone's signed up and everything, but hopefully we can reach that goal or even place in the top 50. Got pretty close a couple years, so hopefully this year turns it into something big and changes a lot of fortunes on our side. So looking forward to this year, looking forward to this podcast. I'm gonna start off by kind of going through the NFC West. We got a big slate of the NFC West and the teams in the NFC West, what they're looking like, and specifically, I want to cover over under wins, the win totals that are slated for that division. So uh, let's get a kick start and go from there. So, first up, the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals were a playoff team last year, 11-6, I believe, and they actually ended up winning the first 7 games they played last year, which was awesome. Kyler Murray finally got into a groove. Cliff Kingsbury finally got a taste of what an NFL offense should look like with the additions of people like DeAndre Hopkins, Rondell Moore, Christian Kirk they had on their side. Now he's departed. He went to the Jags. But yeah, it's looking like another year. Kyler just got a big check. He's getting paid. So yeah, super exciting for the Cardinals. And right now we're based out of Scottsdale, Arizona. So, a lot of Cardinals fans are excited about the season. They did have some key losses, though. I think there was a lot of departure on the D line. Jordan Phillips is gone now, and Chandler Jones specifically going to the Raiders. So a lot of retooling on the defense. They added weapons in Hollywood Brown from the Ravens on the receiving corps, but a defense is only gonna get you those wins and that time to get your offense some well needed efficiency on their end. So, I mean, if the defense has holes in it, I don't know what this team is going to be looking like. I think it's going to be very surprising to see them. It's definitely going to be a tall tale to see how they start off the season. They got a pretty hefty schedule playing NFC West opponents as well as the AFC West, with those teams in that division pretty stacked at the quarterback position. So the defenses are going to definitely have their hands full in the NFC West and especially the Cardinals. So yeah, it's like the linebackers are they're average. They're average. They're not the best, and their D line definitely lost some key cogs. So stopping the run game is going to be vital for them. We're looking at this win total about over under 9.5, which I think is very lofty. I don't think that's something that could be achievable with the amount of defensive inefficiencies they have. So I am looking on taking this one under the 9.5. I think Cliff Kingsbury is going to have a lot to work out with, and the momentum was on the opposite side for the Cardinals. I mean, they lost 4 of their last 8 games, or maybe 10 games for their last 10, and it's a tall task to hold up, especially losing someone like Kirk on the offensive side. I mean, they have people to make up with it with Moore and Hollywood. but the defense is going to have to go against the Niners every 2 weeks, or not every 2 weeks, but twice a year. And, that run game's always stout, as well as the Rams. They got a pretty dynamic run game as well. So we're looking at the Cardinals going under 9.5. All right. Next up, we got the Los Angeles Rams, and their over under win total sits at 10.5. So the Rams, I mean, their whole core is back. I mean, Super Bowl champs, they're looking better than usual and better than ever against all the teams that they stack up with in the division. I mean, you have the Seahawks, which we'll get into a little bit later, but you also have the Cardinals and the Niners. That division's always has been high expectations ever since Colin Kaepernick and Russell Wilson were going at it, and I think we're going to see a drop off from that division this year. I think it's going to be pretty mediocre, to say the least. So Aaron Donald's back. They got Allen Robinson, great new addition. They got a lot of other key players. They lost Odell Beckham Jr., but I really think that Allen Robinson is a better player than Odell Beckham Jr. He can catch the ball in any kind of route situation. He's not a deep threat. He can get post routes 1 to 10 yards. So look for Stafford to throw the ball a lot. I think they're going to lean a little bit on Akers. I think the run game is going to be good. I don't think it's going to be as good as last year. I mean, we lost Whitworth to retirement, and they paid Noteboom on the left side of the offensive line, so that should be looking good. But yeah, let's see what they're up to. But I think they're going to go way over. I mean, playing the Seahawks, playing the Cardinals, I mean, listen, like, McVay owns the Cardinals. I mean, Kingsbury can't figure him out. I think that the Cardinals won one game on a fluky play in the last 4 years against the Rams. So I'm looking to see this win total actually go way over. I think that the Rams are a 12 to 13 win team here this year, and I think they'll really make another huge entrance in the playoffs and see how they go. So let's see. The NFC is pretty strong, but we'll see how they fare in the playoffs. But I'm going with the Rams over 10.5. All right, so next up, we got the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks open with a over-under win total of 5.5. This one is looking like a very, very vast rebuild. I mean, to be honest, the only team member they have that's a franchise player is Jamal Adams, if that. I mean, Jamal Adams I think personally is vastly overrated. I'm sure some of my peers, my Jets fans out there in New York, New Jersey, they're going to think the same. But this team, they look pretty good on defense, not going to lie. They made some pretty good additions on the coaching staff. They got Sean Desai from the Chicago Bears, who, worked with a pretty mediocre Bears defense, but got them in the top 15 of defensive efficiency. So, I'm looking at the Seahawks defense, and I'm like, okay, we can put up some fights or some wins. But then you look at the offensive side of the ball, and you got bum Geno Smith, and you got an even bigger bum, Drew Lock. So let's see. I mean, quarterback's the most important position in football, and if those guys can't move the ball, it's going to be a lot for the defense to stay up on the field. So I like this over-under win total without Russell Wilson is 5.5 in a long, long time. So I'm going to go with the under. I think that the Seahawks are going to get absolutely blown out in the first couple of weeks of the season. I think Pete Carroll is going to be forced to resign. I think Desai, who was actually hired as an assistant coach, is going to look and replace Carroll. And I think they're going to throw some fight at the end of the season. But for right now, I think I'm leaning towards the under 5.5. And next up, we got the San Francisco 49ers. Interesting team and interesting win total. We got the Niners sitting at 9.5 over under wins. This is Vegas likes this team, I guess. I mean, 9.5 is big for a second year quarterback starting for the first time in week one. I think he may have got one start last year, but this is going to be his first full season. He's gotten occasional snaps here and there in garbage time when Jimmy G was hurt, things like that. But it's going to rely on Trey Lance. And, Kyle Shanahan gets back to the Kaepernick ways with this one. We got a dual threat in Trey Lance. We got Deebo Samuel going to be running the ball. We got a trio at running back that's pretty good, but they did lose three offensive line starters. I don't think they're going to be as good as we all thought they would be. I mean, they are the NFC runner-up champions from last year, but this whole new regime, we'll have to see how it works. Shanahan's going to devise some good game plans. He's going to be up for the challenge here, but I think we'll just have to wait and see. But I am going to go with under 9.5 wins. I think they can stay around 500. I think that run offense is really going to wear down at the end of the season. I think you'll see a huge drop off, especially with O linemen. I mean, O linemen get hurt very frequently, and losing three starters is nothing that you should be looking forward to when you're down in the trenches over there. So, pretty tough schedule too. I mean, they play the NFC South, which is, one team is really destined to be good in that conference or that division right now. But yeah, that's the big story. So I think I'm gonna go with the Niners under 9.5. So there you have it. NFC West breakdown, over under wins. I think I'm gonna go with my best bet as the San Francisco 49ers under 9.5. So again, best bet for the NFC West division, San Francisco 49ers under 9.5. And we will try to break down another division next week. So I will see you guys then. Thank you for joining the Sharper Shift podcast. I'm your host, Shiv Reddy. This is my first podcast, so leave some likes, subscribe if you would like, and we can go from there. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.